Well, hello and welcome to a new video. Today we are doing yet another Guess the Eyeshadow palette. If you don't know the drill by now, I used a particular eyeshadow palette today on my eyes. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. Instead, I'm going to swatch for you the colors within that palette that I used. And then I'm going to swatch the rest of the colors. I'm going to give you a few clues here and there, and then I will reveal what palette it was. The game, of course, is for you to try and guess what palette that was before I show it to you. Do not cheat and go watch the end of the video to find out. Just play the game and let me know if you had guessed it right. So, these are the shades that I used. This is... It's not really a matte, it's more like a satin finish. So I used it in my crease after I applied my base, just because I wanted to make sure that the other colors would blend in nicely. I also later on used it to add a little bit of light in here. I used this shade in my crease and a little bit above just to have a first lay of color. I then deepened my crease with this shade. I did a different shade than I'm used to. I didn't take it out, but I took it a bit more up in here to have a bit of a rounder effect. I went back in a little bit in between those two to kind of blend it all together and have a seamless line. I then used this shade, which I don't know if you can tell. There's a bit of glitter in here, so what I did is that I used a blending brush and I tapped out the excess and most of the glitter fell out, and so that's how I managed to have more of a matte outer corner than I thought I would. I used this shade all over the lid, almost all over the lid. I kind of stopped in here. I used this one and then I went kind of all the way and I patted a little bit on the rest to have a nice transition. And then this one I really put in the inner corner and also underneath. And I then went back in with this one to finish the lash line. I lined my waterline with a black pencil. I used this forest green liquid liner really just on the outside, just to have a bit of a more structured eye, but it's very subtle. And then I put on a mascara and that was it. So I used 7 shades, and here are the 5 remaining shades, all metallics, just saying that I feel like it gives it away. So 12 shades, 2 mattes, 9 metallics, and 1 that's more of a satin finish. Have you guessed? It is the Naked palette from Urban Decay. I'm giving you a closer look at my eyes. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the Naked line before in several videos, actually saying that I'm not really a big fan of these. I have 4 of them, which I know it doesn't make sense. This one, the Naked number 2 and the number 3, I have more because I felt like it was an iconic piece that a makeup lover had to have. I know it's a weird logic, but when it comes to me and makeup, there's really not much logic at all. So I did buy this a few years ago, and I believe I only used it once. When I opened it, it looked brand new. I could tell I used a few shades. I think I had stayed mainly in this region and maybe that one, but that's pretty much it. And I didn't have the best experience, or at least I didn't remember it as being a nice experience. And to be honest with you, the color story just... it doesn't really speak to me. It never has. Like I said, I bought it because I was like, oh, fine, I guess I gotta have it. And they were gonna discontinue it. So I grabbed one of these. And I'm happy that I did because, like I said, it is a piece of makeup history. So I'm glad I own it. I just never used it. And I had this in my mind that, you know, because I don't like the color story, because I don't like the ratio between mattes and shimmers, I was like, you know what, I hate this. not hate, but at least I don't understand the hype around it, and it's not a palette I would reach for. And okay, fine, I changed my mind. It's actually a nice palette. I mean, of course, it wasn't gonna be horrible because it was such a standard, iconic palette at once. You know, it couldn't have been that awful. But I must say I stand corrected, and I actually enjoyed my time playing with this palette, and I enjoy the look that I created. This is not something that I do that often, but it looks nice. I love the colors, I love the shape that I gave to my eye. I like it. I really do like it. Now, one thing that bothers me with this palette and with the Naked line in general is the lack of mattes. So you have two matte shades, and then this one is more of a satin finish, so it's not technically a matte. The rest of it is shimmers. Upon first looking at this, my immediate thought was, okay, how am I going to create something smoky and deepen my outer corner? Because I usually don't like to do that with glittery metallic shades. But what I did, like I said, is that I picked up this color and I tapped off the excess, and most of the fine glitter that's in there kind of dropped. And so I was able to use it as an outer corner shade without it being like too glittery or metallic. I believe if you come up close, you see it's not completely matte, but I don't mind. I used this shade all over the lid. This is the main color that you see, and I like it. Honestly, at first I was like, it looks like a weird poopy green metallic shades. It looks old, you know. I don't know how else to explain it. It looks like a very outdated palette, which it probably is. I mean, that was released a lifetime ago, but it's actually nice. I like the fact that it's a mix between a gold and a green and a brown and a bronze. I really like the effect that it gives. I like the blue in my eyes, you know, how it makes it come forward, I feel like. So not that I started my makeup with a negative mindset, because I'm in a good mood and I try to be every day, but I have a not so good opinion on this palette and how I was gonna work with the shadows and how I was going to create a look. And I almost prepared myself to be like, oh, it's not gonna be that great, but like, whatever. I was also pleasantly surprised with how I was able to work with the shadows. Again, I don't know if it's because when I first used it, it was a long time ago, or maybe I didn't have the same brushes, I didn't have the same experience. I don't know exactly, but I had this in my mind that it was going to be very powdery, that the mattes were going to be probably not that amazing to blend, and that the metallics were going to be a bit lackluster, and that I was gonna have a ton of fallout. I actually started my makeup with my eyes today, and to my surprise, I had little to no fallout. A little bit, but really not that much. I honestly could have done my foundation first and then went in with the eyeshadow palette. Maybe I would have been a tad more careful, but really the fallout was close to non-existent. I was pleasantly surprised with the metallic shades. Like I said, they look nice, and I was able to pick up this color on a brush easily and lay it down under my eyes, and it showed up. You know, I didn't need to wet anything. So yeah, pleasantly surprised with the metallic shades. The mattes were nice to blend as well. To be fair, there's only two in here, and these kind of colors are not known to be difficult to blend, so you know, I didn't expect it to be terrible. But yeah, it was fine. It honestly was fine. It was an easy look for me to create. I had fun doing it. Whenever I used a shadow, it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Even this shade, like I said, I tapped off the excess to remove the glitter, and it was super easy to blend in onto the rest of my eye. It was just a very nice experience. So my apologies to Urban Decay and the Naked line. I must say I quite enjoyed it, and I think I'm gonna have to use it more often because I feel like it's very easy to do something for the everyday look and then have something a bit more smoky and a bit more intense. And yeah, I stand corrected. Good job, Naked. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel because it's free, so why wouldn't you? And I will see you guys next time. Bye!